Bill was a good operator, had the experience, the touch, knew his machine and its limits, but just this once he forgot to check the working area. Yeah, Bill was a good operator.
An operator takes on a lot of responsibility in our industry. He's responsible for costly equipment and the safety of himself and his co-workers. A good operator must be physically and emotionally competent in understanding and abiding by all safety rules and proper reaction in emergency situations. This program is about heavy equipment safety and is another in the series presented by the Chicago Laborers Training and Education Fund, the Underground Contractors Association of Chicago, and the National Utility Contractors Association in Washington, D.C.
A good operator is the one person who is best able to recognize and minimize the hazards involved in heavy equipment operation. He begins his workday with a thorough examination of his machine. On this backhoe, his walk-around inspection includes tracks and undercarriage, a check of battery, water, hydraulic, and oil. And only when he's satisfied will he start his machine. Now he moves the bucket into position for greasing. He'll also check the backup alarm and safety catches on hooks. It's all part of rule number 1, and a good operator does it every day. He knows it's important to keep all walking surfaces of the machine clean and free from mud, ice, snow, and fuel spills, and no smoking while refueling. Always keep 3-point contact with your machine while getting into or out of the cab. Never jump. You just can't afford a twisted or broken ankle. Make sure you have the proper safety equipment. Fire extinguisher in case of emergency, safety belt, hard hat, gloves, ear protection when necessary. Of course, safety operation and equipment will vary with the machine and the job. Even so, make sure you know the working area. Crane and backhoe operators especially must be aware of overhead power lines. Have them marked and keep your machine well away. And when working near power lines, insist that non-conducting tag lines and slings are used. Buried utilities can be just as deadly. Contact the utilities in your area or the local one-call system. They'll locate, mark, and/or stake the buried line. As an operator, your life and safety are at very high risk. So it's your responsibility to make sure about buried utilities and any potential hazards. Remember the opening scene in this program? Well, someone forgot to call before they excavated. Don't you take that chance. Many jobs require an operator to work blind, backfilling or lifting and lowering pipe into trenches where men are working. Always use a signalman under such conditions and make sure you both understand the signals involved. When backing up, determine that your machine's backup alarm is working. Extremely hazardous conditions make rule number 6 essential for any operator. The weight and vibration of heavy equipment can cause collapse in excavated ground. So remember to keep your machine well away from trench and recently backfilled areas whenever possible. Any pro operator knows the working limits of his machine. That means he's thoroughly familiar with the equipment operation manual. Depending on the job, he'll check weight load to lift and know about tipping points, emergency shutdowns, and other safety procedures. Each piece of equipment, of course, has its own safety requirements. As an operator, You're in control of tremendous power. Loaders, dozers, high lifts, backhoes, and cranes all demand certain precautions when moving materials or excavating. You've got to be wary of uneven terrain. Carry the load low while moving. Never let any bucket or blade block your vision, or lift the load over other workers. Whatever the equipment, you never permit riders under any circumstances. A bump, hydraulic failure, or carelessness on the rider's part or yours can mean instant tragedy. While any job site is dangerous, operating within a traffic area is doubly hazardous. Proper signs and barricades must be used. As an operator, your responsibility is not just in working safely and efficiently, but doing so entirely inside the traffic barricades. It calls for special awareness and experience. When parking your machine for any reason, follow recommended procedures. Park on level ground whenever possible. Move hydraulics to down position and set the parking brake. At the end of the workday, clean debris from the essential parts of the machine and secure all equipment from unauthorized use. In any business, it's always a pleasure to watch a real pro at work. In our industry, the good operators, the really good ones, are not only masters of their craft, they practice safety every moment of every workday. And it's not only a pleasure to watch them work, it's safe to work with them. Now, let's review the rules for safety equipment operation. Rule number 1, check the condition of the equipment daily. Rule 2, keep all walking surfaces clean. 3, keep 3-point contact with your machine. Rule 4, use the proper safety equipment. 5, know your working area. Rule 6, use signalmen or alarms when working blind. 7, keep equipment away from the trench. Rule 8, know the safe working limits of equipment. 9, move material safely. Rule 10, do not allow riders on equipment. 11, be extra careful when working in traffic. And Rule 12, park, shut down, and secure equipment properly.